What's going on, guys? It's Picsoleated, and today we are looking at one of Puma's more unique and ambitious collaborations. This one was one I was very excited about because it brought back a lot of memories from my childhood. Truthfully, when it comes to video game consoles, I was raised on Sony, from PlayStation to PlayStation 1, the tiny version, to PS2, PSP, PS3, and now PS4, and so forth. I was loyal, still am, but every time I'd go to other friends' houses, I'd always get attached to their video games, and they would almost always have these retro consoles that I never had. They weren't very retro at the time, they were kind of just a couple years old when I was little, but you know what I mean. One of these consoles was undoubtedly the Sega console, and after playing several games, including Ninja Turtles and some fighter games, I finally set my eyes on the blue gerbil looking character, which you find out is not a gerbil as soon as you read the name of the game, with a yellow sidekick, also known as Tails. It was most definitely Sonic the Hedgehog. Now before we go on, feel free to like the video and or subscribe to the channel at any time if you enjoyed it, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss new uploads. The Puma RS-0 Sonic the Hedgehog collaboration released on June 12th for $130 US and 170 Canadian dollars, with two sneakers in the collection, one being this blue pair that is the Sonic the Hedgehog pair, and then there's the red pair, the Eggman or Robotnik pair, depending on how OG you are. I think you could probably guess which one was the more popular one. Yeah, I'm not going to pretend like I love the entire collab and I appreciate what they did for the Robotnik pair. It's true to the villain and his color palette, I guess you could say, but it doesn't make for a good wearable colorway in my opinion. Some might enjoy it. It does have somewhat of a more mature red vibe if you're into all that bright red type sneaker. I've never been a red sneakers kind of guy, so y'all let me know what y'all think. Regardless, this collaboration was so well thought out. There's so many fine details that I need to share with you guys and get out into this world, so let's get to it. First and foremost, the model, the Puma RS-0 as it's known, is actually not an entirely new model from Puma. They've essentially retroed an older model with a similar name with the release of this collaboration. This model has definitely been updated from the original shoe that released in the 90s. The Puma RS-0, which is the one you see me wearing right now, is an updated version of the Puma RS-100. I put an image up on the screen. That's the one from the 90s. As you can see, both these shoes have pretty significant differences. The overall design language is similar because it really is just an update of the original Puma RS-100 design. However, if these both release at the same time, you wouldn't call them the same shoe. So you get what I'm trying to say. If you see this image of the Puma RS computer design, this was one of the retro models that inspired the new RS-0, as well as the whole video game and play design ethos that they've attached to it. I think it's really cool. I grew up playing video games. Life in the Middle East was a little more isolated than it is over here in Canada, just because my school was probably an hour or 40 minutes from my house. Everyone came from real distant places, and I didn't really live close to my friends, so I spent most of my childhood gaming, and Sonic was definitely a huge part of that. Regardless, it just makes me appreciate the whole play design ethos Puma is continuing on with the rest of the upcoming RS-0s just that much more. Moving on to the materials, the entire upper is pretty much all blue. That's Sonic blue that you can evidently see here. If you've ever played Sonic, you know he's made of like 2 or 3 colors at most. We've got the blue fur all over his body, which always looks smooth and not really furry, but that's just how he's drawn. We all know hedgehogs are furry in real life. Then we have those flesh tone legs and mouth, meaning he's pretty much running at breakneck speeds while going commando 24/7. I can't imagine that's comfortable at all. And finally, his red elf shoes. The upper is made of literally the hairiest suede I've ever seen. It's ridiculous, and it's the main reason I bought this shoe, aside from the fact that this is a Sonic collaboration. I mean, come on, if you're a sneakerhead that cares about collaborations or are a quality material junkie, how could you not enjoy this? You know how the highest quality suede you've ever seen is probably so nappy, and when you brush your finger across it, you see the shades change, and then you brush it back, and then it changes back to the previous shade? Well, the suede on this pair is so nappy and hairy, you don't see none of that, like not a single bit. I was laughing at first when I saw this because I never thought this was possible, but I'm so glad they went that extra mile to make it so hairy that it does kind of look like the outer skin layer of a hedgehog, like of an actual hedgehog. Although it's blue, so I mean, the color doesn't represent a real hedgehog, but the look most definitely does. Okay, I'm rambling about the suede now, but another thing that surprised me about this shoe is the softness of the upper. Even with these leather suede panels, this shoe is really soft and extremely breathable. It's almost cloth-like to wear. It has a nice, snug, and soft feel you get from a knit sneaker, but with a suede upper. It's truly a unique experience, but we'll get into that a little later. The upper has a 2-layer construction, with the second layer underneath the suede layer. It's all blue and is knitted, which is probably what's making the shoe so soft. You'll also notice these well-sized air holes for breathability, and this shoe is just that. It's so breathable, it's perfect for the summer. There's some padding at the heel with a red pull tab and a rubber heel counter for support. We have a blue tongue tab made of suede with Puma and Sonic co-branding on it. There's this tiny gold panel at the front of the lace cage. I'm not sure what it represents, but it might be related to the gold rings Sonic collects in all his games. games, and he has a ton of games. I'm almost certain they're still releasing Sonic games to this day. How are we still buying the same game? I mean, I love the guy, but how are we still okay with just collecting rings and no matter what, he still loses all of them in one hit? I don't know, I feel like we should demand more at this point, like give him 2 hits or something. This guy's weak. This guy is soft still. But that's just me. On the medial side of the shoe, on the heel portion, we have a row of spinning gold rings printed on and a Sonic head logo printed on as well, which aligns perfectly with the green surface. And finally, one of my favorite parts of the shoe, it has these blue rope laces, but that's not it. They went so true to the game that they placed 3 gold rings on each side of the shoelaces. I thought this was the most amazing, thoughtful detail I've ever seen, mainly because they move. It also kind of scares me because I'm afraid they'll unlace one day and I'll lose those rings, just like how Sonic loses them all when he gets hit in the game. I wonder if that's exactly what Puma was thinking, which would just kind of be the biggest sneaker troll I've ever seen. Puma, if you're watching this, let me know in the comments below if that was the case. I mean, I doubt they're watching, but it would be cool to know. Onto the midsole, the shoe has this green strip protruding out of the heel area of the shoe, running from one side to the other, no pun intended, and there is a protruding raised block with a yellow-gold checkerboard pattern on the lateral and medial side of the shoe. Both of these patterns are a direct reference to the roads Sonic runs on in the game, and the green strip is a direct reference to the ever so popular first level of the game, the Green Hill Zone. How could any Sonic fan possibly forget that? These are what activate that inner nostalgia in my body as soon as I see them. Kudos to Puma on that once again. The midsole is a standard Imeva midsole or injection molded EVA midsole with the text RS-0 running system on the medial side, because the RS in RS-0 does indeed stand for running system. Finally, we have this gold checkered pattern insole with a Sonic image printed on the left one and Sonic and Puma co-branding on the right one. And the last detail is this translucent red outsole with Sonic the Hedgehog text showing from underneath. Of course, this is a cool detail. You get that flat piece of material to just blast the Sonic the Hedgehog branding on it through a red translucent outsole. I love it, but it's never fun knowing it's going to be covered up for the most part after a couple of wears. But it doesn't end there. One of the coolest parts of the shoe isn't even the shoe itself, it's the box. I probably should have showed you guys this first, but just peep the details on this thing. Most shoe boxes I'm truly indifferent about, but this is definitely a keeper. If I had to throw out as many shoe boxes as I needed to, I most definitely would, but this is one that would have to stay. With the Sonic level, we have Eggman and his flying ballsack machine ready to attack, and of course the palm trees from the Green Hill Zone. When it comes to comfort, of course, there's no insane revolutionary new tech here. The midsole is a little thick, and you do notice that a bit when you walk. It's not a big deal at all though, and the shoes themselves are pretty comfortable. The upper is very soft and breathable. It's a great shoe to be able to wear in the summer, and that's about it really. Don't expect to be amazed, but definitely expect to be satisfied. As for sizing, I got these in my true size 10, and they fit me perfectly. I'm a wide foot, #DuckFeetGang, and these fit me just fine. You shouldn't have a problem going true to size with these at all. That's all nice and dandy, but I do have to answer the question that I know everybody here is asking. Do these shoes make you go as fast as the kid, the prodigy, the legend, Sonic himself? Well, let's find out. There you have it, folks. The shoes have spoken. They will totally legitimately make you faster than however fast you were before. I swear. Overall, I'm thoroughly pleased with these shoes. They hit me with that nostalgia, but the uniqueness of this hairy suede is just so fitting and exciting for me. I had to get them. What do you guys think? Is this collab flames, or do you think Puma overdid it with the blue on this shoe? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Catch you later. Picsoleated has gotta collect some rings.